What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Single Barrel Saturday. Today we have a bottle that I only opened for one specific pour so far, so we're going to get into this today. This is Doc Swinson's. This is entry date 11/19/2016, pull date 8/3/2022, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, so that'd be 6 years, so 5 years, 8 months, 15 days. That sounds about right. Barrel number 22-0270, proof 114.2, bottle number 088, and this is hand selected by Seelbach, straight bourbon whiskey, limited edition. This comes in at $70. We're going to talk about this bottle as we go, but let's pour this up and let's try it out. 114 proof, we don't need a lot. From my understanding, this is sourced from MGP. It does say distilled in Indiana, so we're just going to go with MGP. I believe it's 75-31-4. That make sense? 75-31-4. 75% corn, 31% rye, which is their high rye mash bill, obviously, and then 4% malted barley. Let's try this out. Everybody knows. Time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. Surprisingly good. I say surprisingly, like I didn't just get back from MGP, try 34, 36 barrels from them, love every single one of them, get a tour from Ian Sturzman himself, and walk through the MGP distillery. So, that being said, I can also understand the other side of things, another NDP putting out MGP product. Let's see what they can do with this particular release right here, especially a single barrel. That's where I start to kind of draw the line. If you're an NDP and you're buying single barrels and just putting out single barrels, then why does an MGP just do that? I digress. Let's get into this. First things first, let's talk about drinkability on this. As we always do, drinkability on this, fantastic. 114 proof, it's the neck pour, basically. I poured literally one of these for a video that I post every Friday of my Fresh Crack Friday, and then I didn't even drink it. I poured it back into the bottle, to be completely honest with you. But this is the neck pour. We just poured it up after that to do our review, and I gotta tell you, this is a fantastic drinkability when it comes to 114 proof. Not too harsh at all. Again, neck pour, first glass of whiskey for the night, easy to drink. I also thought that 31% rye was going to give this a harsh kick when it comes to that ethanol. Again, a lot of people confuse ethanol with that spice, and there's no spice on this that I can confuse with ethanol. There's definitely spice on this, do not get me wrong, but no real ethanol kick. A little bit of a tickle in the back of the throat, but that's about it. I was expecting that warm Kentucky hug, or in this case, that Indiana hug, but this is very, very easy to drink when it comes to drinkability. A lot of people ask me, Chris, why do you do drinkability? What's the point of that? It's basically because when I got started into whiskey, I didn't love something that gave me that big Kentucky hug. I didn't love something that warmed me up all the way down. I wanted that easier drinking, that 80 proof, that 90 proof, so that I could find some other things in those higher proofs as I worked my way up through them that still drank a little bit easier, that aren't those stags that drink at 136 proof, which are still phenomenal when it comes to the flavor profile, but something that maybe was a little bit higher proof that I could wean myself into without it really hitting at that proof. This one, 114 proof, I think it drinks very easy. I don't think I would put it much under 114 proof if we were giving these scores, which we don't do on single barrel Saturdays because my single barrel is going to be different than your single barrel. I'd probably put it right around the 7s because we give it a 7.0 if it drinks right at its proof. Still super easy to drink. Let's talk about taste on this. I think that's where this bottle shines. I just mentioned I was at MGP. We tried, 30 some different barrels. We picked like 4 or 5 of them. All phenomenal stuff. The one thing that I noticed is the variety of different mash bills and then the variety of different flavor profiles within those specific mash bills from barrel to barrel. So obviously every single barrel is going to be different. They did a fantastic job of giving us stuff that was very off profile from the other things that they were giving us. They weren't just giving us straight rye mash bills that tasted like straight rye mash bills. They weren't giving us straight bourbons that tasted like straight bourbons. There were some bourbons that were super sweet. There were some bourbons that were super spicy. There were some ryes that were super sweet. There were ryes that were chocolatey and almost gave you like a desserty flavor as well. It was awesome to see the variety that they have within their single barrels, let alone what they can do when they blend these, and Ian Sturzman is one of the best. So this particular bottle right here, again, hand selected by Seelbach. They can't ship to Pennsylvania anymore, so I don't love that. But I will say, we're talking almost 6 years on this. Very good stuff coming out of MGP. I love the flavor profile. I get a lot more sweetness that I was talking about earlier than I do the spicy. You still do get that spicy. You get that rye influence. You're going to at 31% rye, but it's much more sweet, and everybody knows I love a sweet whiskey. So this is my first experience with Doc Swinson. This is my first experience with a Seelbach pick, and this is the first experience I have for a single barrel MGP product not coming from MGP. I think. I'm trying to think of if I've had any other single barrel MGP releases. Maybe I have. I've tried a lot of stuff from MGP. When I went down to Indiana to do the Backbone pick, which should be coming out here soon, keep your eyes out for that, I believe we had on our table in the room some single barrel MGPs, but don't quote me on that. But again, if you're picking single barrels from MGP, I mean, you're just picking the best of the best. Taste-wise, though, I love it. Not a lot of age statement on this. I know it's only 5 years, 8 months, 15 days, but you don't get a lot of that oak influence, but it also doesn't taste super young to me. Maybe a hint of grain on the back end, but nothing that, like, I really had to look for that on, like, the third or fourth sip. I didn't really pick that out at the beginning. Maybe, like, a hint of youthfulness, a hint of grainy on the back end, but 5 years, 8 months isn't, like, young by any means, so I don't think this is anything compared to, like, a 2 or 3 year old whiskey, but I will say that's the only knock that I have on this particular glass when it comes to the flavor profile. I absolutely love it. This is right up my alley of what I'm looking for when it comes to taste. We always keep the single barrel Saturdays short and quick because there's not a lot I want to tell you about these particular bottles because, again, if you get a different barrel than me, it might not be the same. I'm just trying to open your eyes to what I experience with these particular single barrels. And this one, I mean, it's up there. It's an 8, it's a 9 maybe. It's pretty damn close. And the best part about it is it was $70. So $70 for this particular bottle, I think, is almost a steal. It borders right on that line of like maybe like 75, 80 bucks is where it should be. Again, some people say $10 per year. This is 5 years, so it should be 50 some bucks. I don't think 70 is like too outrageous, especially for a pick. Again, I've never had a Seelbach pick, so maybe you guys know more about them. Do they always put out bangers? If you get your Seelbach picks, are they always bangers, or are you coming across some duds as well? So far, they're 1 for 1 with me, which isn't a bad spot to be. There's only one thing that I want to talk about, and I hate to do this, but I do have to talk about it. I obviously do my research before drinking these bottles, and I went on Doc Swinson's website, and they have a lot to say. Let's just say that. They say on their About Them page, never meant to make a whiskey brand. Our story is a bit more unconventional because we never intended to make a whiskey brand. Our team was developing other people's spirits before Doc Swinson's was born. Doc Swinson's evolved from a pet project. Our collection started in 2017 with 10 casks. Since then, we've continued to grow and grow. We've discovered the more we put into Doc's, the more we gave out. It's the labor of love and exploration of flavors that make Doc's whiskey so unique. That right there just rubs me the wrong way for some reason, because this isn't your brand. It's your brand, but it's not your whiskey. So, like, we discovered more we could put into Doc's. So what? You bought more barrels? Is that what you're trying to tell me? And then it goes on to say that Doc Swinson's is at the forefront of the whiskey renaissance happening in America. How are you on the forefront of the whiskey renaissance? What are you doing that nobody else is doing? It just seems like a lot of BS to me. We are proud to be among the groups leading this transformation. Leading what transformation? Not just doing a good job, but an excellent one at it. Our goal is to get more people interested in American whiskey, and it's working. I was already interested. I don't know. Non-whiskey drinkers often try Doc's and are wowed. That is what we do. In essence, we want to expand the conversation about what can be done with American whiskey. I don't know their other lines, but you can't tell me that you're buying a single barrel, putting it in a bottle, and telling me that you're wowing people in American whiskey. The proof is in the palate. That's fine. Honesty and transparency, these go hand in hand. It's all about making the sum of the parts better than the individual. We believe that the power of open discourse is the exchange of creative concepts. Are they making their own whiskey? Am I wrong? Am I completely wrong? Does Doc Swinson have a line that is their own whiskey? Because if it's all sourced stuff, I just can't get behind this for me. And then openness to ideas, experimentation is important, quality and intention. Our techniques are considered some of the most audacious and inventive in the industry. We don't cut corners or compromise on quality. I have to be missing the fact that Doc Swinson's distills their own whiskey. Because if they don't, I don't know what this is all about. And that's the only knock that I had. I got to be honest, I didn't go much further than that. I only talked about my particular bottle right here, which is distilled in Indiana, which is most likely in MGP. So that's the only thing. I don't love this. I don't love the whole butterfly effect, if you know what I mean. But other than that, this particular whiskey is fantastic. I will try some of their stuff, and maybe I'll do a little bit more research onto if they distill their own whiskey or not. We kind of need our own scale here. I will say for this one, we're going to go with 2 thumbs up. This is a fantastic bottle of whiskey. If you have a Seelbach pick coming from Doc Swinson, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Obviously, if it's that 5 to 6 year mark coming out of MGP, that 30 or 31% rye mash bill, fantastic. I had a few of those as well while we were down there. So nothing I can really hate about this particular bottle. The price point's right. They're not overcharging you for it. I think the drinkability was fantastic. The taste is fantastic. So yeah, 2 thumbs up for me on Doc Swinson's, as long as you're distilling your own whiskey on your other stuff with all that BS on your website. I'm sorry. I'm just the one that's got to say it. Cheers, y'all. But listen, that's where we're going to leave you for today. Make sure you check me out on Instagram at Bourbon of the Week. Go click that follow button over there. Check out our Patreon page and our Discord. Both those links in the description below. Please don't drink and drive. Always drink responsibly. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay questioning the things that people put on their website. Cheers, y'all.